so excited. I was just sharing that I'm feeling a little nervous because what I'm going to share with you today may or may not be what you're exactly expecting. It's something that was inspired by the people in my community that I was visiting with over the last few weeks. We were talking about bookkeeping and their businesses, and I'm going to share some of those insights that they had with me, with you. But I just really wanted to come on and just, this is not like a scripted thing. I have some ideas. It's just going to be me being with you. We're going to chat. You can ask questions. And it's really about building a business you love and some of the insights and growing a business that you love. Some of the insights I've been getting over the last few years, and especially the last few months, like a lot of growth. And like I said, it was all inspired by people from this community. So if you don't know, I'm Candus Kampfer. I love helping business owners and bookkeepers simplify QuickBooks so that tax time is easy, but you can also really grow and manage your business by understanding your financials and realizing it doesn't have to be as hard as you think it is. So I see lots of people that I know. It's nice to see you. So excited to hear about your insights, said Maria. Good. So I always start, I want to dive right in, but I always start, and you guys know this if you've ever been to any of my workshops, any of my lives, we have to do a thought of the day or it wouldn't be a Candus thing, right? So I got a new deck. If you haven't seen this one, I'm really loving it. It's How to Love Yourself cards, but it also has to do with business, right? Like, let's be honest. Business is about how much you grow as a person, ends up being your business. Okay, so that's part of like what we're going to discuss today, which is if you want things different, it's about growing and evolving. So I have my cards right here. You can't really see them, but we're just going to say like, what are we meant to hear today? Okay, let's make sure. These new cards, you can't really tell the front from the back very well, so I'll put these other ones away. It is, I rejoice in my unlimitedness. I feel like I'm saying that funny. I'm aware that I am pure consciousness. I am one with all life. That's the card for today. Do you guys have any fun plans for the weekend? Quick share. Let me know if you do. It is, I'm having my 17th, my husband and I are celebrating our 17th anniversary tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We haven't totally planned it out yet, but just something fun, be together. Maybe I'll try to share it here on Facebook and on Instagram. Kelly said, congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, we got married. It's kind of weird when you get to the point where you've been married as long as you were single or like your childhood. So my husband was 17 when we started kind of dating. And then 18, we got married and I was turning 19. I'm a little bit older. So just a little side note. Meeting the grandkids and going camping. Oh yeah, the weather's starting to turn. What are you guys thinking about September? Do you feel like the transformation and the change is coming? They said, congratulations, thank you. More catching up on book work and easy because of you. Oh, that's super sweet. So you're catching up on bookkeeping has become easier. Okay, so we're gonna dive in. We're gonna chat. There's no like format. It's not like a specific way. I just wanna share with you, like I said, some of the inspiration and insights that I had while I was chatting. So what I did is getting ready to open Confidence with QuickBooks again. If you don't know, it's an online course where I teach. It's through a course and I teach QuickBooks. If you don't know that about me either, if you're seeing this way. And so I was visiting with some of the people who've gone through my course and hearing their stories and hearing their journey with QuickBooks. And in the Candus-like fashion, as they were sharing, we started like dialoguing, and I started sharing with them some insights that I've had in my business over time with working with private clients when I first started. So if you don't know, when I first started QuickBooks, I was working locally, and then I started teaching online, and that transitioned my business to being here with you today. And I still work a little bit with businesses, but not local. Now I get to work with people all over the world typically. So, but I still am learning and growing. And so I wanted to share, I don't do a lot of bookkeeping, I do more consulting, but I think that it will translate back to some of the things I learned when I was doing more consulting and going in. So one of the stories that I shared with somebody was that one time I went in, and this goes back to one of the things I want you to write down. So if you don't have a piece of paper, you're probably going to get some like hopefully aha moments. To grab a paper or like use your phone and take some notes. But if you've had this happen where you feel like, so what happens sometimes when you're taking on clients is it starts to feel heavy and You start to question why you started your business in the first place, whether it's bookkeeping or business. If you've had that happen, you can always say yes, because we're going to be chatting. But one of the things I recommended for her, and one of the things I needed to start doing for myself, was what I call protecting my energy. Somebody said they can't see anything. Well, I don't know. Can everybody else see me? Hopefully you can. Was to protect my energy. So what I did is I started setting an intention. So there was a couple different things. One, I really had to learn boundaries. Boundaries between what was mine to take on from my clients and what was theirs. So a lot of times when you're a consultant or a bookkeeper or any business, right? Like every business, your customer is going to come in and they're going to start telling you their story. They're all the details behind what's going on in their business. And I'm sure if you've been doing bookkeeping for any period of time, that happens. And what you'll find is it feels like you're like, am I doing something wrong? At least for me, like, and maybe you're not even aware of it. You just feel exhausted at the end of the day. They're taking all your energy. So some of the tips that I can give you is setting boundaries with people. So one thing for you to know is, and I said this to one of our alumni, I said, it is not your responsibility to make your client's business better. What is your responsibility as a bookkeeper is to give them the data they need, track their data that they give you, and hopefully they do a great job at that, but to give them the data they need so they can manage and grow their business. That is the whole reason we track our financials, right? Whether you're a business owner or a bookkeeper, we're tracking numbers so that you can manage it. And if that person tends to put like a little bit of their stuff on you, it's about creating boundaries. And even if sometimes where it gets hard is like friends, or you kind of want to be friends with your clients, which I love getting to know all the people I work with. So, but it's about just kind of creating boundaries with people. And I can't tell you exactly how to do that, but I can tell you it's important, and to remind yourself that you're there for a job, which is to help them with their financials. Or if you're in business, it's to help your client, if you're auto body shop, to fix their car. But you don't necessarily need to take on all their drama of how they broke their car or hit a deer or like hit somebody, right? So in every area of business, whenever it starts to feel heavy, my tips for you are, remember, like, why is it heavy? Ask yourself that. Don't just like take it on, but say, what is it that I can do different? That's a key that I learned in my business at any level, whether it's when my new assistant Gracie started and it started to feel a little bit heavy, which I'll talk about, like expanding in a team, because that was one of the questions somebody asked me, which is ask yourself, what's not working and how can I do it different versus just sitting in the frustration of it not working. Does that make sense? Does that help you guys to maybe start reframing your perspective of your different clients? I know I'm giving you a general concept, but I want you to realize this is another tip. You don't have to work with everybody. So one person said in the conversation that we had, she told me, I have all these clients and I can't take on any more. Yet there's this one that's not, they're not showing up. They're not giving me the details I need. They're not doing what I need. And so I said, well, you could choose, if you're at a place financially, to let that client go and make space for a new one that you love. And her comment was, well, I do already have this one other person that really wants me to do their books. And I said, okay, but do you want to do their books? She was like, huh. Like when you get to a place financially where you've grown your business enough and you can choose who you work with, there's a huge shift, because you usually get clients you love, and then you'll have some that you're a little bit, there's things about the personalities, or there's things about the way they run their business that is not in alignment with you. And when you get to a place where you can say, I loved working with you, but however you let go of that one relationship or that one work, and you make space for a new person, but you make space for a new person intentionally with goals of like what they need to be, like interview your bookkeeping clients just like they're interviewing you. Or if you're in any kind of business and you want to interview a bookkeeper, like come from a place of not needing somebody, but intentionally running your business so you can build a business you love. Like I told you, I'm going to teach you how to give you tips on building a business you love. Just picking anybody, anything, most likely it's going to not make you happy. So when you get to a place where a client isn't in alignment with you anymore and you realize it, like when you finally get to a place where you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure, it's like a relationship. When you finally get to a place where you're like, yeah, that definitely isn't working, it's not about just getting into like dating the next guy, but being intentional about the partner you want to attract. Be intentional about the client that you attract next. And when you're at a place where financially you really need to work, it's harder to do that because you're in an energy, or you're in a place of saying like, I just need to make money right now, Candace. Like, I just really need my bookkeeping. That's great. One day you'll be at a place where you'll have enough money, you'll build your business, that you'll also be intentional. The truth is though, if you start being intentional now, when you want specific clients and you get more clear on the type of client, which we're going to talk about in a moment, you'll be amazed at how it's not so hard to get clients anymore. They'll find you. And I'm gonna give you some tips on how to do that. This is a great point. Oh, good. This is fantastic and applies not just to business, but in life in general. Yes. Okay, so I just, like, I know I come on usually and it's like a quick tip or it's like QuickBooks, but this is like life and business. And this is the stuff that like I love so much. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Okay, so I kind of went ahead of where I was gonna start. So let me go back a little bit to talking about starting a bookkeeping or a business in general. This is like either place, this is stuff to think about. So one of them is, whenever you're first starting bookkeeping, people say to me, Candace, they come into Conference QuickBooks, or they want to start a bookkeeping business, and they say, I want to start a bookkeeping business, but I'm nervous. I don't know enough. I'm nervous where to start. And if that is you, whether it's bookkeeping or any business, my tips for you are these. One, think about, if you have been in bookkeeping and bookkeeping specific or any business, what are the skills you already have? Meaning, if you've done, usually somebody doesn't say, I just want to be a bookkeeper and not have some experience in the office world. So, you know, maybe you're in accounts payable or accounts receivable, or you're a receptionist or whatever. Usually you have some experience. And so what I tell you to do is niche down. Find the business you like. Have you been helping people in construction? I don't know if Edith is here, but she is one of our alumni, and she was sharing with me that she had taken an accounting class and she has been doing, so her husband has a construction company and she has been doing cleaning. Edith is watching, Gracie said. Okay, cool. So she had, and she can share this with you, she has been doing a cleaning business. And as we were chatting the other day, she's like, and I shared with her some transitions that we've made, and that my husband used to have his construction company, and he now has actually joined me in teaching, like helping me in the business with teaching QuickBooks. He does our Facebook ads and that kind of stuff. She was like, oh my gosh, that inspires me. I've known for 2 years I wanted to step away from my cleaning business, and I just wasn't sure how. And now I know. She went through Comps QuickBooks, but she's like, I now am confident that I could help somebody else do bookkeeping, which I've loved and thought that's what I, like something I kind of been thinking about, but now I know is possible. And she said, I know who I'm even going to go to. I know this person in construction who needs help. And so what I'm telling you is if you find someone if you find what you're uniquely good at. So for her, she had helped her husband in his bookkeeping business, or in his construction business doing his bookkeeping. Now she's like, oh, I could go help other construction because I don't need to know about every industry of QuickBooks. I don't need to know how to customize QuickBooks to every specific industry, but I really know how we've used it for our business, and I'm confident that I can do it for somebody else. So wherever, like the industry you're most familiar with, like if you've done, you've helped hairdressers, service-based businesses, you don't have to just go like, now that I'm a bookkeeper, I need to be able to help everybody. And this is where your business will grow quicker if you're niche. So like for me, I get people emailing us and saying, hey, Candace, do you know a bookkeeper in Ohio? And I'm like, not really, but I can give you a tip on how to find one. And this is how you go find clients. Okay. So one, you niche down and you figure out, what are you really great at, that you are confident that you could support this type of business, whatever that is for you. And then you go to the person, you go and you start. When I wanted to start my consulting business and help more businesses set up QuickBooks, I went to tax professionals and I said to them, hey, I want to help people with QuickBooks. Like, do you have clients that need help? And a lot of people don't want to go to a tax professional because they figure the tax professional already is going to help do bookkeeping, but most tax professionals don't have space or time. And most are looking for somebody good to refer their clients to. So if you showed up to a tax professional, now some tax professionals also niche, right? So some only work with specific types of businesses that you could say, hey, I really love helping investors and people who have rental properties. I understand classes and I'm going to help them track that. And I can really help them get that honed down. If you have any of those type of clients, send them to me. If you have any type of clients for construction, I would love to work with them. Do you have anybody that you know, right? So don't be afraid to ask a tax professional, build a relationship. And the great thing is if you build a relationship with whoever they're getting their taxes done with, whenever you have a question about how specifically they want to do something, and maybe you don't know the answer, you now have somebody to ask some questions to, or you could say, go ask Bob how he wants that done, and then I can customize it to your QuickBooks. You don't need to know all the tax laws to be a bookkeeper either. I don't know them all. When somebody asks me a question and it has to do with something they need to check with their tax professional, I'll say, go ask the tax professional. And then once they tell you how they want to see it, what type of account they want, I'll help you set it up. But if you ever think you need to know every answer to every question, you don't. I have been teaching QuickBooks for 13 years and people ask me questions. And one of the things about truly becoming confident and also being really aware is the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. I can't know everything, but I know I can help people in a specific way, and you can help people in a specific way. You don't need to know everything. Does that make sense? Does that help you guys? Yes. Okay, cool. Are you already feeling like you might be a little closer to being ready to take on a few more clients, or ready to start like, I'm just going to dabble in this and I'm going to at least try it, right? Like, this is one of my points at the end, but I'm going to tell you now and I'll remind you at the end. One time so my husband and I live in California, but we wanted to go to Mississippi. We have rental properties there and we wanted to go start doing more investing. And I was really, really nervous to go have this experience. I wasn't really sure what it was going to look like. And my mom gave me the best advice ever. Don't moms give you those? She said, you can always come home. In other words, you take on a bookkeeping client and you go, wait a second, that wasn't quite what I wanted. You can always change your mind. So Sheila, one of our alumni, was like, Candus, I had this person who I kind of want to reach out and tell her I want to do her books. We were on a chat together and I said, okay, so what's keeping you from doing it? And she's like, well, I'm just not sure about this, or I'm not sure about that, which she has Commons QuickBooks. So I'm like, all that's covered in the course. And like, but what you're uncomfortable with is your belief that you can do it. And I told her, I know you can do it. You have the knowledge. But I also said, be willing to be honest with the person and say, hey, I've never quite done this type of business before, but I'd love to help you. And I know I can do it, right? I know I can do it. The thing is like, I said this earlier, I'm not sure if it was before I started going live, but I said, anything you want is usually that's like to grow, evolve, and develop yourself is outside your comfort zone. So if you only ever stay comfortable, the person you want to become is less likely to happen. But if you say, you know what, Candus told me like, I don't have to do it forever. And if I don't like the client, I can let them go and I can move on. But you won't know if you don't try. Okay? You won't know if you don't try. And the more you get uncomfortable, the easier it gets to be uncomfortable. Because you realize you grow in that process. I'm going to apply what you shared today to my drilling business. Please share if this is recorded today and will be available to listen to. It is. I will be emailing it out. It'll go up on my blog. Yeah. Yes. Okay, cool. You hit on so many points I have been worried about. Oh, good. Okay, cool. So like people ask me all the time, how did you get to the place you're at right now? Like, how did you get to the point where you're like comfortable doing things? I'm not always comfortable, but I'm comfortable in the uncomfortable. Like when I do a mastermind and there's all kinds of different businesses in there, I don't always know. Like I have the doubt, like before I get on every call, I had the doubt before I got on this call. Like, I hope that I'm going to give them something they're going to find valuable. We all have doubts every single day. But the only way you'll change is to push through. I know I said that. I'll move on to my next point. Okay, so first you're going to pick your niche. You're going to figure out like, What is it that you know you at least know enough about that you could get started and find a client who's willing to let you grow into the amazing person you're going to become, bookkeeper or business owner, or both, like Edith. She has a business, she helped her husband, and now she's going to do bookkeeping. Like, whatever it is you're going to do, okay? You're going to be great at it, but you got to get started. Like, I look at, I was telling somebody, so I did a podcast this week. I recorded a podcast. If you guys check out my podcast, we posted it on social media, on Facebook and on my Instagram. If you're not following me, check it out. I did a couple weeks ago, I recorded a podcast. I recorded another one this week with the same lady, Queena, and she was asking me about how did I grow my YouTube channel? I go back and I look at my very first videos and I just laugh. Like, who you are today is not who you will become. But if you're not willing to start today, if I had never posted that first YouTube video, I wouldn't be where I am now. Okay? Hope that makes sense to you. All right. So then the second part when you're getting started is a lot of people go, should I go online QuickBooks or desktop? It depends. Not going to tell you one way or the other. Oh, Stacy, you're welcome. So she said, thank you. She needed this. So on desktop or online, I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. I'm making a switch in my business and it's uncomfortable. I have been debating for months. So I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was pregnant with Oliver, he just turned 2. I said to myself, I was teaching desktop at the time. And I said, I'm going to teach online as well for a couple different reasons. One of them was I thought, the more, if I can do both, that means I can serve more people, I can make more money, and I won't have to turn anybody away. I will tell you that I love teaching, and so I never want to tell somebody I can't serve them. But I recently decided, and this, you may not know this yet, I'm not going to be really teaching and serving QuickBooks Online. And you might be like, dang it. But I empower you. That doesn't mean you can't do QuickBooks Online. But what it means is when you try to serve all people, you don't serve anybody deeply. And that was uncomfortable for me. But when I said to myself, I can teach the people that bring me joy, not that online users don't bring me joy, but when I have to switch back and forth, it just doesn't feel light and easy. And one of my mentors, James Wedmore, says, is it light and easy? And I really had to ask myself that question. And if you are sitting there thinking about making switches in your business and you know you need to make a change, yet it's uncomfortable, like we were talking about, it also means it needs to happen. So when you're thinking about whether you want to do desktop or online, not one is better than the other. Can you do both? Yes. But typically I find people love one or the other. If you want to be able to work with as many clients as you want, fine. And you want to have both, fine. I'm not going to tell you don't do that. But what I am going to tell you is only do that if it's light and easy. So what are the benefits of online for bookkeeping purposes? It's great because you can log in remotely to any client and do their books. And more than one person can be working at a time. The benefits of desktop is you can still put stuff on remote. You can still, I work with people all the time remotely. You can use QBox, as you guys have probably heard me talk about. I have a QBox workshop. If you want to know about it, comment here or comment on Facebook, email us, we'll get you the workshop and you can learn about it. But it's where you use QuickBooks Desktop, but you install it on a server basically so that you can look at it, your bookkeeper can look at it, and work on it. So there are benefits to online and there are benefits to desktop. What you have to ask yourself is, what is the best for you? And which one are you the most comfortable with? And do you want to go into a client's house or office and work, or do you want to get to do it from home? Do they need to be able to access the reports, or are you basically running all their QuickBooks and you're just giving them the report? All these are variables on what's the best decision. Okay, so I see people are saying they're interested. Gracie, can you look up the replay for QBox and put it in here? I know we have the link for that. You could let them know what the QBox link is. Yeah, so QBox, I have a whole, I talked to Chris about it. I did this a few months ago. We had a whole training that we did with QBox. Chris works there and he talked about it. And I love it. I haven't used it a lot, but I love that they focus on desktop and they're giving you ability to work on clients' books from home where your clients can look at them and you can look at them and still use desktop. The nice thing about desktop is you can have multiple files in it and you don't have to pay anymore. Where online you pay per file, and that's a difference. So online you're paying monthly. Usually for desktop you buy and you own it, and then basically you get all features with desktop, and you can make a lot more changes. With online, they limit, like I just got, talk about growing as a team. I just got a bookkeeper for my own business because I didn't have time to do it anymore as much. And I went to do online, but I have the accountant version and I couldn't set up a user. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Side note, those are some of the things I like about desktop. You have more functionality and more ability. Does online have its benefits? Yes. I do both. It just depends on the business. Okay. So so Gracie put it in the chat. You guys can watch QBox. It's just a replay. And then I do have an affiliate link. It's out of transparency, so they know that if you joined. Susan said, as a QBox user, I love it. So she came to one of my workshops before where we talked about. So go ahead and check those out. Okay, moving on. Getting started picking your niche and then deciding what version. Well, picking your niche is the biggest thing to get you started. And then, yes, you need knowledge. I can always help you out with the knowledge, but you need to be ready. Like, it's a decision. The other thing is like, I know people who are always like, I want to start bookkeeping because it gives me flexibility and help me create a life I love so I can be a stay-at-home mom. Yes, it can give you all that. So if it's something you've been thinking about, do it. That's my recommendation. So I'm gonna go on. Finding clients, we talked about that. I talked about going and seeing your accountant. I also want to inspire you. Like when people ask me, Candus, I said this before, do you know somebody in Ohio that I could do bookkeeping? I usually say, do you know another business owner or somebody in your industry that you can ask who they use or ask for a referral? So that's how you're gonna get a lot more clients, is when you get really niched, specific, and somebody knows you're really good at what you do, you're more likely to get referrals from your clients you already have. And you can always ask your clients, like, I'm thinking about taking on a few more clients. Do you know anybody who needs help with their bookkeeping? Don't be uncomfortable with asking. Say like, I'd like a couple more clients. Just like you, if you love them, usually people kind of know other people like themselves. So ask your clients if they know somebody, if you like them. If you're kind of like, I'm not really sure. And remember, don't be the girl who needs a boyfriend, the needy person. Like, I need a client. Be like, I'm looking at taking on a few more clients. You can apply if you like, and we'll do a little conference call and I'll see what I feel like. Trust your intuition. Talk to these people. Don't just take them on. Ask them questions. How do you track your books? Who did your books before? Why do you need a bookkeeper? Like, these are questions to ask so you get to know the person. If they're like, I have a shoebox and I need you to figure it out, you could say something like this. Kind of like, I heard somebody the other day that they were saying they wanted to like get like a personal trainer at the gym. The personal trainer was like, I'm not really taking on clients. And they're like, oh, but I really love to work with you. And they're like, well, if you want to work with me, these are the criteria that you need to never miss a class. You need to do this, right? And it made her like she was the best student ever because the person told her that if she missed a class, she was dropped. Think about the perspective of when you talk to your clients, not in a rude way, not in a mean way, but in a intentional way. Like, I will take you on and help you, but you have to give me your receipts. I will need these things from you. I need your bank statements. You need to set up a business bank account. You can't do both anymore. Like, only take on clients who are going to be willing to make the changes they need to make your life easier. Okay. Cool. So let's see what else. I'm just looking at my notes because I took notes. Okay. This is huge. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about core values. So this comes back to any business should have core values. You need core values. And this is something I just recently worked on. And I worked on it when I was getting ready to grow as a team. So when I was getting ready to hire Gracie, and I went through this program, I'm still in it actually, to become a better leader, or not a better leader, to become a great leader. One of the things they teach you that she was teaching is core values. Have you heard of this? Core values are the things that are super important to you as a business that you're looking for. could be in a client. It can go both ways, right? So it can be in the clients you take on, and it can also be in your team. So let me give you an example, because it's always makes more sense when somebody says something when they teach it to you. So actually, I'm just going to pull up my core values. Give me 1 second. So what I did is I sat down and I said, these are the things that are the most important, like 5 things that are most important if I was going to hire somebody that I know I need. You're going to want to think about this not only in your team, but also in the clients. Now, if you're looking for bookkeeping clients, you can kind of interview them and like get to know them. And if you're looking for like clients, like Linda's here and she has a drilling company, you are looking for like when you get to know a client and you just kind of feel it, but it also, there's energy, right? We all know that the energy exists. And as you set the intention that these are the people you want to attract, and like when you set the intention of the new boyfriend or girlfriend you want, it's amazing sometimes that you get that exact person into your life. Has it ever happened to you? So whether or not you publicly set this out to people or not, set intentions for your business, what they call core values. So these are my core values in my business, which is has integrity, friendly, responsive / communicates, a problem solver or thinks outside the box, attention to detail and efficient, and a personal growth, somebody who's willing to grow. Those are the things that if somebody wants to be on my team, that they need to incorporate. So what does this mean? When I went back and I thought about it, and I'll show you an example of where I knew I was somebody was out of alignment with this so that I could understand. So integrity is important to me. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. Okay. That may or may not be one of your top core values, but it is mine. So I have a property manager in Mississippi where I have my rentals, and she has not been in what I realized was integrity, and also why I put responsive and communicate. So I have a thing where if I like email her and I want to know where the financials are at, and she doesn't respond or doesn't get back to me, after a while, I start to feel frustrated. Do you feel like that? Have you ever emailed somebody like they just don't get back to you? Oh, and time goes by. And it's not like a one-time occurrence. It happens over and over and over again. So when I figured out what my core values were, I realized why the things she was doing were irritating me. Because she wasn't doing the things that are important to me. Kind of like a marriage and a relationship, right? Like there's certain things that in a partner you want. There are certain things you want in a client, in a team member, in your business. So I encourage you to sit down and really think about these in a way that you can start transforming your business. And the other thing that's beneficial when you have team members is whenever you get ready to do your quarterly reviews or your different yearly reviews, the different reviews that you do where you sit down, I encourage this, you sit down and you think about, is this person in alignment with these different core values? And then if there's adjustments to be made, you're basing them off what the overall business core values are versus just things that are irritating you, So, hey, by the way, Susie, which is nobody in my team, one of our core values in our business is integrity. And when you tell me you're going to do something, you haven't been sticking to that. And that's important for the overall functionality of the business. Do you get kind of how you can apply this to your life and your business? The same is true if integrity is important to you and you tell your client they need to get their stuff done at a certain time, and then you turn around and they still aren't doing their books and it's happening over and over again, or they're not responding to your messages. That's where you can use your core values, what's important to your business and to you, in how you attract the right client, but also how you can pinpoint where something may not be aligned with the clients that you have attracted. And you can start having communication with them about why that's important to you in a nice way. Does that make sense? Kind of how you would use core values. Does that help you guys? Do you get it? Let me know, because I want to see in the chat. I think I'm gonna pull up my Facebook too, just so I can see real quick any conversations. Oh, I had it on airplane, so let me know. Does that make sense? I'm waiting for you. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me yes or no. Yes, I'm taking notes. Okay, good. Okay. I just need at least one yes, that we're still all together, checking in. Have you learned something that you think will help you in your business? Let me know. I want to know that too. Very good. Okay, good. Yes, awesome. Okay. So then the next thing that I'm going to share with you is team. So somebody asked me recently, they said, how do you do the infrastructure? So as a bookkeeper or as a business, you can only grow to the extent that you have availability if it's only you, right? And so would you repeat the core values that you mentioned before, like my core values, Claire? Let me know if you want my core values. I'll do it as soon as I get done with this. Yes, okay, I'll come back. I'll repeat them in just a moment. So somebody asked me recently, they said, I have noticed huge growth in your business. I have noticed huge transformations, and like, I'm so impressed with all the things you're doing. And I'm like, oh, thanks. You know, that's nice. And I mean, like I say that like, oh, that's nice. But no, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you see it and you can feel it, because it's definitely happening within me. And so my grandma passed away back in May, and we did like a little celebration of life for her. And I saw this one cousin of mine that has a pretty large construction company and does really well. And I said, we were talking about, I said something to him about team, and he told me, he goes, yeah, I knew I had to have a team, because if I only focused on how much work I could accomplish, I wouldn't be able to do what I do and help all the people. And now I have all these families that I support and take care of. He's like, I don't really have to do as much as I once did. Now I'm overseeing things. And so I think it was yesterday, I had a private client, and she goes, you know, I'm getting to a place where I want to make more money, but I've tapped out basically my time frame, because she's a mom and she has things she wants to do, maybe like you can only work so much. So that's when you need to consider a couple different options. One, you either adjust kind of how you do your business, and maybe instead of bookkeeping, go more into business consulting. Or when you get to that point, now you may or may not be at this point yet, you might be just starting out. I'm talking at different levels of business, right? We're covering kind of, depends where you're at. Okay, so if you're brand new, you just get started on you today. But in the back of your mind, remember this conversation, which is you start thinking about taking on team members, right? So, and if somebody wants you to do their books, maybe they pay a premium for you, but then you have other team members that you're overseeing that can do the work you want to do, so that you don't have to do it all. Because the truth is, especially for me, when I get too deep in making sure all my emails go out and making sure the Facebook posts are there, like all the things it takes to run my business, I got to the point where I just couldn't do it all. It became very overwhelming. And when you become overwhelmed, you're not staying in what you would call your zone of genius. Only the magic you personally can do. Like nobody else on my team can be on this call delivering only what I can share from you from my heart, right? So as you get to a place in your business, whatever your zone of genius, like in Linda in her drilling company, like who else can help you in different areas of your business? Or I have some friends that live here locally that have a construction company, and it's like, how can you hire somebody who can help you expand it? How can you hire somebody who can help you so that you can stay in your zone of genius? The thing you can do, maybe all like your zone of genius becomes you're the visionary of all the other things happening in your business, and you have other people who help you pull the levers and the emails, do the things. But if you get so overwhelmed doing all that you can't be a visionary anymore, like I had stopped at some level being a visionary in my business because I was so in it that I couldn't see all the other things I wanted to do, because I just like thinking about doing more YouTube videos was like, I don't even have time to do this or that I already want to do, let alone do all these other areas. So I encourage you that coming to a place where when you're ready, and you'll know because you're getting overwhelmed and you feel like you've capped out at what you can make, and you charge more, yes, but you also have the option of leverage, and maybe within leverage you actually work less and have more time to take care of yourself, because if you're running all the time, you're not probably as present in your actual life as you want to be. I know that was true for me. Is that true for you? This is so good. I need to build a team, and this is so helpful for me right now. Awesome. I love this. I feel like this was inspired by my community and inspired by like stuff that's been on my heart, that I'm like, I'd love to share this stuff too. All right. So that comes back down to pricing. And then this is the other point that I want to share, and then we'll kind of wrap it up, and I'm going to get back to the core values again. When you get to a place in your business, so Leah was visiting with me, and she was sharing about how she's kind of like got to the point where she's taken on as many clients as she wants, but she wants to grow her business. She also wants to be a mom, but she's not sure. Like, I remember at some level, like I used to be able to do it all. Like I could keep my house clean and I could be with my kids and I could do my laundry and I could do my business. And now I find my bandwidth, just, I can't do it all anymore. And I think that is an amazing awareness. I've come up with the same awareness, which is at times, remember I talked about your zone of genius. Sometimes you need to ask for help and be willing to pay somebody else to take some stuff off your plate, and realize that by asking for help, getting a housekeeper, getting somebody in whatever it is that you know you need, maybe it's a nanny a few hours a week to help watch your kids so that you can do what you love and your purpose and your meaning, that doesn't make you a bad mom. Like, I'm gonna just have to be really real with you. I had a hard time thinking about getting somebody else to help me with Oliver, my little guy, while my older son is at school. But I also knew that I'm a better mom when I get a little mama time where I can show up for you. If I never get the time to live my purpose, show up consistently, give my heart and soul to you, I'm not happy. I love being a mom, yet I love living my purpose. Do you have that feeling? Let me know. And it doesn't make you wrong, okay? I just want to make sure you know that, because it took me a really long time to find peace with that somebody else might love on my kids. And the truth is, I have somebody starting next week that my kids love, and it allows her to get to spend time with them and then get somebody else's perspective, right? Like somebody else that they love to be around. And then when I do come back in, when my day is done at say like 3 p.m, or my studio that I'm in is just outside of my house. So I just like leave and I go back in and I get to say hi and kiss on him and whatever. But I also got to live my purpose, which makes me a better mama, believe it or not. Because when I'm like being a mom, but I think I should be doing something else, which is a whole nother conversation, I'm not as present. So when I have some support or somebody coming to clean my house, like I was washing my dishes this last week and I was like, what part of me believes that a good mom and wife means I wash my own dishes? Where did that belief come from? And is it true that if I hire somebody else to help me take care of these things, that I'm not a good mother? And it's not true, but it's a belief. And a belief is just something that you've thought over and over again until you think it's true, but doesn't mean it's true. And one of the key things I've learned in my life is to ask myself, why do I believe that? Is that true? Do I know any other mom in the world that I think is a great mom who has somebody who helps her around the house? And the answer is yes. Do you know somebody else who is accomplishing what you want to accomplish and you still think they're really good at whatever you're afraid you won't be good at? A mom, a wife, or whatever that is. That's when the magic happens, when you actually start asking yourself, why do I believe this to be true? I hope that inspires you to start thinking slightly differently about your business, about your life. This is all about how do you create something you love, about being intentional with your clients, getting clients who are in alignment with what I call your core values, the things that matter to you, that they respect you, that they treat you like they think you are an amazing person and they're so grateful to have you as their bookkeeper or as their whatever service you provide. Okay? I'm going to go back over my core values. I feel like we just need a minute. There's a lot there. I'm really glad you came today. I'm glad you're seeing this. I'm glad you're hearing this. If you need to hear it again, rewatch it. But this is really for you. I hope there was some little nugget that will transform your life. Okay. I look forward to a new job and that has inspired me to keep going for a new dream. Great. Whenever you start to feel like things are heavy, take a moment. And okay, so this is something else. So recently when I was visiting with my, I could talk all day. So I'll make sure I wrap this up because you got things to do. I recently was visiting with some of my alumni. I told you that, like chatting with them. And whenever you've got to the point where you've been doing your business and you just kind of got into the groove and you forgot, you know, people say your why that you did your business, get on the phone with somebody that you did impact their life, hear their story, and allow your heart to be reconnected with your business. A lot of times what happens is we just get like, we need to make money. We get overwhelmed, our clients, our business, everything, life gets a little overwhelming and we forget why we started doing what we are doing in the first place. Maybe you want to do bookkeeping because you want to be with your kids. Maybe you want to be able to travel the world. Maybe you want to make a living. But even if you want to make a living, you can make a living doing anything. Why did you choose bookkeeping? What did you think you could serve and help somebody? We all do it because we know we can make a difference in some way. So at any point when you're starting to forget or you're feeling overwhelmed, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. Oh, it brings tears to me. I'm so glad. That means tears are when things hit your heart and they're truth. Remember why you're doing what you're doing, whether it's well drilling, you're designing purses, you're doing bookkeeping, you do hairdressing, you have a construction company, you started doing it for a reason. And it's way more than maybe what you remember in this moment. And it's beyond money. Okay, so I'm going to answer the question about my core values again, because this is actually was a huge change in my business and a realization for me of what was really important. And so when I interviewed Gracie and I was like, okay, so what are like important things to you? I probably referred to it as core values, but I'm like, if you were going to date somebody, like what are the non-negotiables? Like in a job for you, in a business, like what are non-negotiables? What are the things that you would love to see in a business that you worked with? Okay. So those are the ways that you can ask other people as you're interviewing them, or, you know, you could ask a client if you're in bookkeeping, like, so what are some of the things that you look for if you're the bookkeeper? You're asking the business owner. What are some of the things you love in clients that you work with? What are some of the things that are really important to you? You can figure out how you'd ask that question. Mine are has integrity, is friendly. I don't like working with people and I don't enjoy who they are. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't have time for fake. You guys will, if you ever get to chat with me, I mean, we're chatting now, but if you ever get to see me in real life, I like to go deep and I don't want to do surface level. Like, what is your meaning? What is your purpose? Like, why are you here? Like let's fix some stuff. I was on a chat with one of my good friends, Stacy, before I came here. And we like went deep. We were talking about business. I don't like surface level, but I also like people who are friendly. Like if we can't laugh and joke, there's no point. So responsive and communicates is number 3. So 1 is has integrity, 2, friendly, 3, responsive and communicates, 4 is a problem solver and thinks outside the box. I need somebody who, when something breaks, they try to figure it out before they come to me so that they can think on their own. It's the way I teach QuickBooks, right? Like I say, I want you to have wings so you know how to fly on your own. I'll be there to support you, but the truth is, you don't want somebody who every time you have to figure something out, you have to ask them. You want to be able to do it on your own. All right, so that's something I look for. 5, attention to detail and efficient. I want somebody who's going to notice when something's not done quite right, but I also want them to be relatively efficient. Like all the time, you'll notice, like if when I do private clients, I'll watch them in their QuickBooks. I'm like, if you do blah blah blah, it's a little bit easier. Or like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. But I also do that in every area of my business. I'm like, if you just copy and paste that, it's so much quicker. So efficiency is important to me. It may or may not be important to you. And then the last one is personal growth. I want a team and a client, just like you, who's willing to be here to grow and evolve as a person and to want to grow and evolve. That's important to me. Oh, Linda goes, you've been a huge impact on my QuickBooks life. I'd like to share a free YouTube. I'd like to share a free YouTube for those overwhelmed in their homes. Oh, it is A Better Life by Kat on YouTube. She follows the Fly Lady system. I don't know what that is. I'll have to check it out and like let you guys know all about it. I will grow, and reduce my life of being overwhelmed. Thank you, Candus. You're welcome. All right, so thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting. Is there anything I said that you want clarity on, that you feel I didn't speak to, that you feel you need answered? I'll do like a couple minute Q&A and then we'll go. Is there anything? I'm gonna go back and look at the chat real fast. Anything you guys want me to chat about? I have a new office employee starting Monday. This is so helpful. Oh, yay, that's Linda. Okay, cool, she's getting team. All right. How to get more clients. So the person who asked that, are you really clear on who you're looking for? Like, do you know a specific, like the niche, like I talked about, like a niche or industry specific that you are working for, and what is it? So like for me, when I was wanting to do more consulting, some of the things I did is I became a teacher. I went to the Builders Exchange and I started teaching, and then people were like, can I work with you? Sure. Bonnie goes, this is the first live presentation I've attended. Just found you last week on YouTube while looking for information on QuickBooks. Cool. Well, you know, if you don't know, I'm doing a live workshop. I'm actually doing a series of live workshops in September, doing my Getting Started with QuickBooks workshops. So if you haven't already joined one, I highly recommend if you go to CandusCampfer.com/workshop. I'm doing 3 workshops in a matter of a week. On different days and times, because I'm actually doing a Saturday one. You guys are always asking me for like, Candus, are you going to work nights and weekends? And I go like, no, that's my family time. I have my own boundaries, right? So I have my own boundaries, but I am doing a Saturday workshop. So I have 3 workshops that week, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, and one on Saturday. And then I'm not sure when I'm going to do one again. So if you haven't got to attend my live workshop or you want to, and you want to know more about really getting confidence with QuickBooks, I highly recommend going to the workshop. Oh, Rhonda said, you touched every part of my life today. Lots to think about. Oh, good. Let me know how it goes. I didn't see Galaxy responded with like more about it. It only said Galaxy because the person joined with their like their name is their phone. So I'm not sure. But I would tell you to get more clients. I would say be intentional. I did give you some tips. Go out and talk to tax professionals. Go out and talk to other business owners. And if you already have clients that you like, ask them if they know anybody, right? Somebody I know, he said he's hired almost every person on his team by asking somebody if they know somebody who'd like a job. And they're an amazing team. So the same is true with your clients. You know, do you know anybody? It's kind of like the tree guy. I live in the country, if you don't know this. And we had some trees we wanted to get cut down that were dying. And there was a tree guy across the street. And I was driving by and I like rolled down my window and I said, is this what you do for work? And he's like, yep. I said, I got a couple trees. Come give me a quote. I saw him. So ask the people you're already working for, who do they know? And set an intention out there. If you have Facebook, even if it's a personal Facebook page, say, I'm looking to take on a couple new clients. Like, what's the worst case that's happened? That you don't get one. That's worst case. Best case, you find an amazing client. That's what I would tell you. Also need to help to set up payroll on desktop. I will sign up for the live workshop. Yes. And I have a way I'm just gonna be really transparent. I give great value during the workshop. And then I have a way for you if you wanna learn more about QuickBooks to work with me. Okay. So I won't be talking about it on the workshop, but at the end, what I share, I do teach the quick payroll in there. So keep an eye out for that. I think that was Bonnie. Yes. I like your suggestions to take what you like about your favorite clients and use those to create your core values. Great. Okay, cool. Happy birthday, second birthday to Oliver. Oh, that's so sweet. You guys were listening. Okay. Julia. Oh, her name's Julia. Okay. So hopefully I gave you some tips, Julia, on how to get clients. Invest in social media. That really works. Yes. if you get a good person to do social media. So like I started my YouTube and I grew organically through YouTube, where people found, they were searching because it's the top search engine. I just did a podcast on this with somebody, so it'll be coming out in about 2 weeks, but it's a top search engine. So that's one way I started. And then we started doing more social media. So some of you found me through a Facebook ad. My husband does those for me. That's one of the things he does. I give referral. So here's something else. I'm going to give you guys some tips that people are saying. I give referral bonuses to my clients or friends who refer me business. Who doesn't want a $50 or $100 gift card? Great ideas. You know what I'm thinking? Maybe we should do on my Facebook page, we'll do a post that says, give us ideas on how to grow your business. And then you guys can share with each other like what you're doing that's working. And then everybody can use that as a reference. What do you guys think? Would you like that? I think that's good. I started bookkeeping by accident. Now I can't stop learning, and I'm looking forward to those that need help with their booked. Yes. We are in the trucking business, and I found thanks to you, I love doing this. Oh, cool. We're in the, so that's one of my prior probably alumni. Okay, thanks. Yes, investment in social media, it really works. Yes. I recommend that. Now, it works if you know what you're doing, which is a whole nother conversation. Maybe I could have Jonathan sometime come on and give you guys some tips on how to do Facebook ads and social media. Would you like that? That's like not something that I normally teach, but we can cover it for you. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me. I really love chatting with you. I hope you guys got some great value, and we will put this up on YouTube and on my blog. So if you just go to CandusCampfer.com, it will be there. Today's topics, training, we will do that. I'll even have my team like outline some of the highlights of the things we covered at what minute marker. So you can go back and watch those if that sounds good. And today's card was, I rejoice in my unlimitedness. Sounds funny. I am aware that I am pure consciousness. I am one with all life. Other words, the energy you put out, the intentions you put out are what you attract. Because do you ever have that where you're like thinking about somebody and then they call you and you're like, I was just thinking about you? That's what that means. We are all connected, whether we want to admit it. I mean, whether we realize it all the time or not. Okay. So have an amazing day. Looking forward to growing your business. Suggestions via Facebook. Okay. So you like that. Awesome. I'll have Jonathan come on and give you guys some amazing tips. That's my husband. And thank you for being here. Enjoy your weekend. I'm going to give you back your energy, attention, and focus so that you can go on throughout your day. I'm going to take back my energy, attention, and focus and go on with mine. And what that's about, which is great for people in business, is people connect to us energetically. And if we never like kind of disconnect from people, then we're always connected and we get tired. So whenever I say on my workshops, like I give you back your energy, attention, and focus, it's so that I can give you back all your energy that we were exchanging, and then I take back all mine. Just a little tip to set intentions. Thank you for your time. I love your webinars always. Oh, thank you. I will see you soon. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing day. Bye.